Hello goddesses, and welcome to another video. As always, before we get started with today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can become a part of the goddess family, along with that notification button so you are notified every single time I drop a new video, which is on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into today's goddess. This goddess is very bold, very beautiful. She is the goddess of co-creation. She is very fiery, very beautiful, very elegant. Her name is Spider Woman. I'll go ahead and put her picture up on the screen, either here or here actually, and I'll keep her on the screen for the remainder of this video because this is all about what she brings into our day-to-day life, what she symbolizes. So whenever I think of co-creation, I think of literally what we do every single day. We co-create and we have choices, and no matter where you are in your life, you always have a choice. You have a choice to see things from one perspective or from another perspective, and we're constantly creating the life that we see in front of us. So how we view the world really is based off of our inner emotions of how we are choosing to view it. Now, things can always change with mindset, and the subconscious is a very powerful tool in co-creating, and I think that is one of the things that Spider Woman helps inspire you to really tap into the oneness of yourself and understand how your actions have a trickle effect on everything else around you. So how you're feeling in this very moment really builds up your next moments in life. So in order to gain control of your life and where you are, especially if you're feeling lost, confused, in a low place, wherever you find yourself in life, know that you are there based on past decisions, right? And this can even be past decisions of other people that have been in your life. So past hurts that you keep repeating over and over in your mind, and because you keep repeating them, they keep manifesting in different ways. Very much like the web of a spider, right? You keep going with the same thread. It's all the same thread that makes this big picture. So if you broke up the thread and threaded with something different, or changed your mindset or the pattern of the thread, you will then change the bigger picture. So I feel like, at least how I interpret the spider, is you're able to have this interconnective world where you co-create with other past experiences to build the experience that you want now. And a lot of what we go through is lessons that teach us how we want to move on in the future, things that are going to build us up to where we want to go to next. So if you view your life as something that was really traumatic or hard, take that as a learning experience in order to know what you don't want to bring in to your next phases. In order to do that, you have to recognize what is already there. You have to recognize the pattern. If you don't recognize the pattern and unravel what is in front of you, then there's no moving forward. You're literally just repeating and repeating and repeating these cycles. So you're choosing to create the same thing. It might package in a different way, but you're continuing to literally thread the same thread over and over and over. So you have to really unravel everything, and that is why therapy goes back and back and back down to the childhood. You have to really unravel all of these different cords, attachment, people, situations, circumstances in order to get back down to the core of who you are or where you want to be, or understand what event is causing the negative events. Get down to the root. And it could take you years, it could take you months. I'm just being honest. Everybody has their own unraveling, and you can take it as fast or as slow or at whatever speed that you want. Again, this is your choice to be proactive and start to take control of your life. I know for myself personally, it has been a journey. It has been an ongoing journey. There are things that are triggers that come up in my life, and I'm like, why do I feel like I've done this before? And then I have to do my internal work, like really go inside of myself and understand, what am I projecting out that's bringing this to me? What is mirroring back at me? not all the time is it the other people. Sometimes it's really yourself and your own insecurities and your own bad habits that are reflecting back to you. And a lot of what, co-creation is, it's showing you what you've made. You're able to see your masterpiece. You're able to tweak it however you want. You have the power to do that, which is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Be gentle with yourself. Feel confident enough to be that co-creator for yourself, for the people around you that you love, and for the world at large. Like, the more you tap into this and you're co-creating and fully in your power, people are going to notice it. People are going to be inspired by it. This is something that you can solely do for you. In the back of your mind, you can know that it is going to have a positive impact on others around you. I know for myself personally, as a mother, I try to tell my children, like, look at what I've created, right? How did I get here? What would I have done differently? I try to have very organic, real conversations with them, because I don't want them to have to unravel things that I've already unraveled. So I try to explain to them really organically. And when I say organically, I don't try to make myself seem like I haven't made any mistakes. I know a lot of parents, you want the best for your children, so you want to show your children that being the best is how you become the best, which in reality, we all have faults. We all have things that we go through in life, ups and downs, and that's what builds our character. That's what makes us who we are. And if we give a false illusion that everything is perfect or everything is great, or it's only thinking positive and that's how you get to where you are, that's false information. I mean, a lot of the people who are the leaders in the world, who are very influential, have had a life where they've been turned down, where they have had their own personal struggles and battles that they've had to push through. And in order to build that character within them, they've had to go through those things. And it's a beautiful thing, because you're starting to understand not only how it affects you, but how things like that will affect other people. So if you are blindsided to some realities, that no matter how harsh or how traumatic they may be, then when you step into the real world, you don't have that knowing. And so it's gonna hit you even harder. So I try to build them up for success, in the sense that I want to show them things that I've gone through, or talk organically with situations that are really hard and maybe not the most pleasant to talk about, because I wanted them to understand the truths of what has happened to me, what has molded me to make certain decisions in my life, why I was a mother at such a very young age, and what I felt internally to make these decisions. And then I asked them, if they were me, what would they do, so they can kind of relive those moments with me without having to physically relive those moments. It's that knowledge base, giving them that knowledge in order to build them up for success, knowing what the pros and the cons are of certain things. And if they did choose to go down similar paths, I would have nothing but support for them, because it's their journey and it's their choice to co-create whatever it is that they want to co-create. And that is a very scary thing to say as a parent. It really, really is a very, very scary thing, because you do want the best for your children. So as a parent, you hold this place in your heart that's called unconditional love. And that is something that I have with my kids personally, and something that I have with a few people in my life, that I just have this unconditional love that I can't really explain, but it's just something that I carry with me, because I consciously want these people to be a part of my story and my creation moving forward. And so everything I do, I have a mindset of also placing them into the picture. Now, obviously, when you're creating, you have to create for yourself, because everybody has the ability to create whatever it is they want. So if somebody wants to create a life and a vision that doesn't have you in their plans, even though you want them in their plans, you have to be okay with letting it go and letting it be. Being your own creator is a great thing, but you have to realize that other people are their own creators too. Again, it goes back to the parenting scenario, where even if I want my child to be a doctor or a pilot or an engineer, these are things that they would have to want to create for themselves as well. I could have a vision, but ultimately it's them that needs to do the creating for them, as well as you need to do the creating for you. I grew up in a very traditional household where the wife was expected to be more so very submissive, which I have completely rebelled against. I don't like having the feeling of somebody controlling me at all. I was definitely the rebel in my family, but I grew up where, you know, the woman catered to her husband's every need. And I have done that in past relationships, and I found myself completely unhappy. And the only reason I did that was that's how I saw things. Even though I hated it as a child and I would always say I'm not going to be that person, I ended up finding myself as that person, because at the end of the day, I never actually went back and unraveled what was triggering me to feel like I needed to be this person, even though I was like, no, I'm not going to be this person. Your actions always speak so much louder than your words. You can say one thing and then you've caught yourself doing it like years down the road. Like, how many times have you acted out and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm literally turning into my parents? It happens all the time, because there's a part of you that has this built into you as you're creating your life. This is what you saw, so this is how you created your life subconsciously. And this is why I say the subconscious is so important, because this is something you do without realizing that you're doing it. It's just stuck in your memory. So the only way to really undo certain patterns that you don't want in your life, you don't want to co-create, is to really step into that subconscious mind, which meditation is absolutely fabulous for that. There are so many meditations that help you tap into the subconscious mind. Hypnotherapy is also another technique. I have done a few hypnotherapy sessions myself, and I'm telling you, they are really great. I did not do it to rewire my subconscious mind. I did it to uncover memories that I had literally shoved down. And so when you are in a hypnotic state, you're able to kind of let that guard down, and they trickle you back to certain scenarios. So you're literally unraveling those parts of your brain that are just dormant, but that are creating the life that you are seeing in front of you. If you are finding yourself sitting down somewhere watching this video and you are not happy with the world that is around you, the world and the lifestyle that you've created for yourself, I challenge you to go inside and take control of your creative power. Understand what is triggering this lifestyle, and how can you as a creator start to project what you want out. And it all comes from within. So whatever it is that you are thinking about the most, like a magnet, it's gonna magnetize to you. It's gonna bring that to you, okay? Another thing with co-creation is sometimes, majority of the time, not even sometimes, majority of the time, when you are so focused on what you are creating, it's not so much what you're creating, it's why you're creating it. So if you feel drawn to being a certain thing, or having a platform, or talking about certain things, it's gonna come out and it's gonna be created, but it might not be created in the vision that you see it. I have heard, and I have experienced my own personal self so many times where somebody's like, I always knew this was gonna happen, or I really, really wanted this to happen, and it happened, but not quite in the way that I expected it to happen. I watched a YouTube video today where this girl opened up about how her life had changed since winning the lottery. And that's so funny, because she did open up about how she knew she was gonna win. She just knew in her being that she was gonna win the lottery one day. But the funny thing is, not funny, but the crazy thing is she did win the lottery, but not the traditional lottery, right? She didn't win it from the little lottery ticket. She actually won the lottery on YouTube. She made it big on YouTube and makes millions of dollars now. And it's crazy because in a sense she did win the lottery, because only so many people make it that big and make that much money on platforms like this. But I did feel like this was such a great point in how creation works, because you have this vision, you have this inner knowing, because you are bringing it to you, right? So there's something inside of you that's like, this is it, this is what you need to do. This is the root of your creation. And that little things, those little triggers, those things that you were taught, or those negative aspects that are blocking it from happening or creating, it need to get taken care of before it can really flourish. So there's a lot of inner work and acceptance that happens before it does. And some people have more work to do than others. Like, let's be honest, like we all have different upbringings, we all have different mindsets. And I think one of the things that I've noticed the most with people who are successful or have actually accomplished where they want to be as far as like what they created, they are living the life that they want, is the minute that they let go of expectation, they let go of what they think that they wanted or how they thought they wanted it to happen, is when it happened. It's like they literally released any fear. They released what was holding them back. And so that is another key tip to co-creating. Like, you have to release whatever fear is holding you back and just allow things to flow. The more you unravel these like fears, blockages, bad patterns, it's literally just gonna bring more of a flow to your inner you, which that is all your creative self. That is who you are creatively. Think about when you were a child, like you were so creative, like you were able to literally have fun with like a rock and a pencil and be entertained for hours. Like, every kid has this capacity to just be a kid and be happy with the simplest of things. We're taught there's certain behaviors we need to act according to, whatever rules that we have in our own personal households. So it blocks a lot of our fun and our creativity. So think about when you were a child and what made you the most happy, and I'm telling you, that is where a lot of your creations are going to manifest out of. You are going to want to be that person again. That's probably what you're yearning for, and that's probably why you feel a little bit of a loss. And if you have found yourself, then you can probably relate that the things that you caught yourself doing as a child are the things that bring you the most joy, and you want to keep creating that joy. And sometimes you'll find yourself on a creative just bench and you feel so happy, and there's one thing that will trigger you and bring you back down. And that's why, again, I say it's so important to deal with those things while you're creating, is because once you get to a certain creative point, like, it never ends. Like, you get to where you believe your goals are and your dreams are, and then you have to keep creating. Like, you don't just stop. Like, it's every day is a new day. Every day is full of possibilities. So every day is a new experience, and it can go up or it can go down. That's why people who are at the top sometimes end up falling, and people who are at the bottom end up going to the top. Like, it's an ongoing battle. So in order to master your co-creations, you have to really let things flow. I'll even use myself as an example. There's a lot of things that happened in 2020 that I wanted to create, and they have unfolded for me in front of my eyes when I have least expected it, when I wasn't even thinking about it. Literally, when I had literally stopped thinking about wanting to create or wanting something to happen. I had to take a step back, because a week or two after all of that, I found myself living that, and I'm like, what? And again, it wasn't exactly how I had envisioned it, but it had the key elements. And this happens all of the time. So recognize and be humbled whenever your creations do come full circle, and understand that we all are co-creating together. So if you can put a smile on somebody's face, that might help them with how they're viewing their own creations that day, and inspire them to maybe make more positive changes in their own creative life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you feel inspired to go out and create the life that you deserve. I love all of you guys so very much. Until next time.